We have a police report that has just come out over the DUI incident. We also have people talking about potential prison time and what that's about. And then we have a shocking video of JK allegedly vaping and why the community is allegedly making these claims. But speaking of these things like vaping, we have a word from our sponsor. Roll that clip. Have you heard that the flavor air category is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking, led by today's video sponsor, Fume, a leader in this new movement towards better habits. We all have bad habits. What if I told you there's a better, enjoyable alternative that you can take out with you? Fume is an award-winning flavor air device that draws flavor to your mouth. It's not a vape, no vapor, no nicotine, no batteries. You can use it anywhere, guilt-free with non-toxic flavors. Plus, it looks awesome and is perfect for fidgeting, calming anxiety with its satisfying clicks and snaps. Just listen to this. Flavor air isn't like vaping. If vapor is sticky soda, Fume cores are like herbal tea with flavors like crisp mint, orange vanilla, and Fume offers a refreshing, subtly sweet experience that fills the gap left by ditching a bad habit. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, so use my code DaveDecide to get your free topper, the perfect accessory for your Fume device. Visit tryfume.com, that's tryfum.com, and use the code DaveDecide or scan the QR code on screen to get your free Fume topper when you order your Journey pack. And please thank them for sponsoring today's video. So, as you guys know, Disney recently has been releasing a lot of little clips here and there showing our boys JK and Jimin doing some cute little things all around the world. And this is, of course, for their show. People have been taking these clips and really analyzing them, and some people have now said that there is a clip in which we can see JK confirmed vaping, like he is doing it out in the open. There is a couple things that I have to say about this. First off, if we see that he is vaping, and this is something that he has now been open about, then it cannot be a scandal. Do you know what I mean? It would then now be something that he doesn't care about showing people, and the label doesn't care about it getting out. So it should no longer be a big deal or this taboo thing. Second of all, from the clip, it is very blurry, so we would not know what we're watching. But it's interesting to me how people are making a big deal out of people acting like this is like really hidden information, when in reality, if this was actually him vaping and they didn't want people to know, they would have cut it out. Like, they left it in for a reason. This is always something that kind of bothers me, because I think from very early on, I understood the concept of editing. Like, of course, I was fascinated by it, but then also I think I just understood it. It just made sense. Like, of course, something wouldn't be done in one take. Of course, people would prefer to edit themselves to make themselves look a little bit better, and it was no different when I started realizing that singers do this as well. Either edit their voice, or they just kind of cut certain things out of the studio version, things like a breath or things like a stutter or whatever it is, things that don't sound as great. They kind of just cut it out. And so it was always very odd to me when someone would, let's say, take a breath after a really long note or something, and then the community is like, you took a breath, I heard it, oh my god, I heard it, you took a breath. It's like, yeah, it was left in there. That was the point. You didn't catch something that was not supposed to be heard. So that's kind of how I feel about this. Like, if this was a vaping clip, but also it is extremely blurry. It is at night, and we don't know for sure what it is yet until the clip comes out. But people are inferring, because he had his hand right up to his mouth, or what appears to be a hand right by his mouth, and there was a blue light. So obviously if you vape, you would recognize that blue light. So that's what people are saying. Honestly, it could be anything. It could be a reflection, it could be a camera glare, it could be anything. And if we are going by the fact that people are recognizing it as a blue light because they have seen vapes or they vape themselves, then this is exactly what I'm talking about. What on earth is the big deal if half the people watching are vaping or have vaped? But then JK apparently can't do it. And a lot of people who I think defend this idea, where they're like, oh, I don't think JK should be able to vape or whatever, they often like to say, well, he's an idol and that's different. And I hate that thought process, because I've had people literally tell me when I say, oh, I wish I looked a little bit better, I wish my skin was clearer, I wish blah blah blah, which are all things that we all wish for. And someone responds and says, well, of course you wouldn't have those things, you're not an idol. That to me is so ridiculous, because obviously we would want those things even if we were not an idol. Who doesn't want to look really physically good, who doesn't want clear skin. Like, these are things that are very sought after for everyone. So then it kind of reads the same way to me when I hear people say, well, they're different because they're an idol and they shouldn't be this way. No, they're human beings, and just like every other human being, they can do human being things. So people were really shocked about this alleged vaping clip, but we'll see what it is, and we'll see if it's anything worth being shocked about when we watch it. And by the way, if you do want to check out other reaction videos and shows that I have reacted to, then make sure you go over on Patreon and check it out. I've reacted to a bunch of BTS reality shows. I will try to react to this one as well, but definitely if you're interested, go over there and check it out. There is a limited under $2 tier in which you can get access to the thousands, and when I say thousands, I mean thousands. I mean like almost 3,000 videos. It is almost endless, and you probably will not be bored for the next year. And you will have full access to be able to watch and react to fun music videos and reality show moments with me. But anyhow, we do have some pretty shocking news coming out about Suga and his DUI situation. So something I got wrong before was that apparently his alcohol levels were at allegedly higher, like at 0.227%. And this is important because the alcohol limit in which you would have to be under to pass the breathalyzer would be 0.03%. So he was almost over 7 times the limit. He said that he had just one drink, so he didn't take endless beers, and a lot of people are calling him a liar because they think that that cannot possibly be true given his results. I don't know anything about alcohol. I don't know how it works, because in my mind, if you had just drank a cup of beer and there's still alcohol in your mouth because it's just lingering there, or you were to swish alcohol in your mouth for some reason and then take a breathalyzer, it would put you really high even if you didn't have that much, or if you weren't really drunk. So I cannot comment on that. However, the alcohol limits and the amounts that he allegedly had is what's really being debated, because depending on how high the alcohol levels are and how past the limit they are, the punishments get more and more severe. And this is just how the law works in order to be very fair, right? So someone who is extremely drunk, maybe can barely see, can barely hold a sentence, can barely walk, that person deciding to, let's say, get into a car and drive is going to receive a much different punishment than someone who may be, like, as I said earlier, swished a beer in his mouth, spat it out, and then drove. These things are obviously very different for very obvious reasons. And so the debate now is, since it was initially believed his alcohol intake was below 0.08%, meaning that he would be above the alcohol limit but below like the first or second tier, making it like one of the lesser crimes, if that makes sense. But it being above 0.2% would make a different crime or a higher tier. So he allegedly faces 2 possible punishments. One of them being slightly under 15,000 US dollars. He would have to pay or face anywhere from 2 to 5 years in prison. Now, this is scary to think about, because I still believe he's a really good person and he wouldn't deserve 5 years in prison. But also, a celebrity being in prison is a very different situation than most regular people going to prison, because most celebrities would just do like a house arrest for like 5 years. However, it's still not great. He would miss a lot of the BTS activities. A lot of people are asking him to leave the group, and now a lot of people are really, really upset because the alcohol intake was very different from maybe what they initially thought it would be. And also, they just think that the situation is now a lot bigger than what it was. A lot of people had many different reactions to hearing that he could potentially face prison time. Now, him paying a fine, a lot of people are not happy about this, and a lot of people are trying to protest for him to not pay a fine, saying that under 15,000, even if it was 15,000, is not a lot of money for him. This is probably how much he makes in a very little amount of time. So they feel like that's not really a punishment. So a lot of people are actually trying to see if he could do a prison sentence, which I think is so sad and messed up. I know this is like not the best and optimal situation, but I don't think that someone like him should have a prison thing on his record. It's just a mistake. It's a really bad mistake. However, nothing bad happened, thank God, and I think that that is something that should be taken in consideration when looking at these things. I am and always will be biased when things like this happen, and I say when because things like this will happen because they are human beings and things like this happen. We always do things that we regret. We've done things that we're maybe not the proudest of, right? Some bigger than others. And I think everyone deserves a second chance, especially people who, innately are good people. There are people out there who do this and then they also actually do really heinous crimes towards other people. I will guarantee you Suga seeing all the headlines about this, him reading about what people are saying about him, and just taking all that in, he will never do this again. And I think this is enough of a lesson learned, because he will now have to choose. Am I going to go out and drink, or do I want a career? And I think he's going to choose his career. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks. Just leave a comment right here. Love you. Bye.